it New Year's Eve?
It is.
It is, yeah. Okay. Welcome to The Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia. I had to do it to make you laugh.
Okay, so that's funny that you mentioned you did it that way. I've not changed mine at all, hardly. Without, I'm not going to sing it, but
You're consistent.
I guess so, yeah. Okay. It's New Year's Eve, and we have put together a little look back. We kind of went through and sifted through not all the episodes, but much of the guest ones, and picked apart little bits and pieces of it and put it together in this little montage that maybe encompasses like the theme of the year. And a lot of it matches up, I've noticed, because I've been editing it. So a lot of it really matches up really cool. And it's fun to hear the same thing. Like, it's all about love. God is good. All these things from so many different people, and it just comes out naturally. So here is a little look back review of the year. Welcome to The Ancient Way. I'm James Harden.
I'm Marlia Vidal.
Little bit of an intro there.
No, that's really where we're at. That's what we want to inspire within people.
Yeah.
Is real vulnerability and real connection.
Yeah.
Through a whole lot of stories.
Yeah, stories, guests. We'll have people sharing their stories.
So dreams are so amazing, and they freak people out, especially some dreams that I've had. They really can freak people out, but the Lord is so good, and He uses them, and He uses them to save lives, to love people.
I dreamed that, but it, like, again, like, I almost feel I don't feel like it's a dream. I feel like it really happened. So I was in my dining room at the table, and my great grandmother showed up, and she's like, "Well, hey, Melanie, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Hey, Mama, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Well, they let me leave and come to give you a message." And that's interesting because they all come to give me a message.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, what do you have to tell me?" She's like, "I'm telling you now. Everything is about love. Everything." She said, "Everything you do, everything in this life, I'm telling you, it's all about love. Do not forget that. Everything is about love. That's how important it is."
I was connecting to God in that moment, and like the thought of like, what is God's greatest power? Like, what power is the greatest that God has? Because he's obviously the most powerful. Like, I knew that. And that's the power I want, you know, like, because I want the most powerful power.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and then I get out of the bathtub and I'm like, Mama, like, I know what God's greatest power is, and he's already given it to us. And she's like, "What is it?" And I said, "Love." And that's where all miracles and prophetic words and power comes.
Where power flows from.
It's originated out of. And, God is love. You can always turn to God. And those things were put in me, like, He's good no matter what.
You think of the reality of the goodness of God.
Yeah.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. You know what I'm saying? Magnified. Clearly presented, be who you truly are, your person. And that is the feet that actually bring the good news.
Yeah.
And that articulation of like, yo, he's actually good. He's actually kind.
Yeah.
And He has good for you. He's not against you. He's for you. Take a chance on that.
Yeah.
That draws people to Him. Like, I'll take a chance on that. I'll risk communication to Him on that.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's transforming.
Yeah.
It really is.
We're called to be such carriers of God's presence that people, angels, demons, principalities, and powers have to react. Like, because you're carrying heaven. And, you look at Jesus's life, people reacted by responding in faith. He said, "Your faith made you well." You look at even Peter, people reacted by faith by stepping into a shadow to be healed. It it wasn't anything Peter was doing except being a conduit of heaven,
Totally.
being one with God.
Uh-huh.
But it inspired people into acts of faith.
Yeah.
And that's what we're called
Yeah.
to do.
The new covenant is this.
Yeah.
You know, if you just look through all the prophets of the Old Testament, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I'm going to forgive you of your sins. Like, well, yeah, your sins are going to be washed away. But if you look in like Jeremiah 31, 33, if you look in Isaiah 58, I'm saying this is the covenant. Like, yeah, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to make a new covenant, but my words are going to be in your mouth from this time and forevermore. Joel 2, it's like, it'll come to pass afterwards. My spirit will actually be poured out upon the flesh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, what does that mean? What about cleansing? It's like, yeah, the Holy Spirit of God himself will be upon them. Do you think that's not cleansing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in the result, their sons and daughters will prophesy, boys and girls. There's no grid of who gets to play. That was all you guys. It was never me.
Yeah.
God's
Mhm.
saying, your old men, young men, see dreams and visions. You have all these different things throughout, and we could just go on and on
Yeah.
about the communication of God
Yeah.
that's there.
I had this dream that there was this man chasing me and my children. Obviously demonic attack in pursuit. And I'm running and I'm carrying my children and just running and running and running. I was actually in my parents' yard, and I start screaming when normally I would yell Jesus, Jesus. I start screaming Garrett, my brother's name, Garrett, Garrett. I just start yelling my brother's name, and then the dream totally shifts after I call his name several times, and I look and there's another man who's different, and he's just a man of peace, almost like not the Lord himself, but an angel of the Lord, someone who's embodying the Lord. And I felt so much peace and like complete rest.
Again, it was peace, and then I saw the hospital roof open up, just split open, and this big yellow light was shining through it, and I saw a figure come down. And I knew it was the Lord. It was just like a shining silhouette of a man, and I knew who it was.
Then all of a sudden, peace flooded me. Just 1 second, I was terrified and I was on fire. And then the next second, I was just flooded with peace. And Jesus was there. And this time, I absolutely recognized him. I didn't know his name, but I knew exactly like who it was. Like, this person is saving me. And in such a kind voice. I remember calling him Brother Dad afterwards because he was protective like a father, but so kind and approachable like a brother, playful, And in such a kind voice, he was like, hey, you don't know who you are, but I'm going to show you who you are. It's like, come with me. And I was like, yes, I will go with you anywhere.
End up having a dream that night where it's so clear, where I'm in outer space and I can see like all the stars. I can see the Milky Way. Like, I can just see it all. Like, it's just so clear, and it's almost like I have an infinite amount of vision. And I turn around and, I'm floating in space, kind of tripping out about it, for a 13-year-old. And I see this man behind me, and I'm like, is this who I think it is? And this guy has the exact same guitar. It's black and white. I think it was a Starcaster, guitar you get from Walmart. He has that exact same guitar, and he says, hey, come here, I want you to play for me. And I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, I felt no fear. I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel nothing. If anything, I was so excited. I was like, you want me to play for you? And, he's like, yeah, come on. So I grabbed the guitar and I'm like talking to him to like a normal person. I'm like, well, I only know like the C and the G chord. Like, I don't really know nothing else. He's like, I don't care. Just play for me. It's like, all right. And I strummed them chords for a while, and I had never seen anybody as happy as the Lord, and that's when it clicked for me. I was like, oh, this is God. This is Jesus. And he wants me to play for him. So I'm playing, and he's just smiling, all the way up.
That's incredible.
And I finished playing, and he grabs me on the hand, and he's like, do you see all this? And he waves his hand, at all the stars and galaxies, everything that you can see, planets. And I'm like, yeah, this is yours to have. That's what he tells me. And I'm like, what?
there's so much beauty. Like that's the whole count it all joy,
Yeah.
brethren, when you encounter various trials. Is that in James?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the joy is in just the growth that you see and the maturity that you see and all of the things. Like I can look at it from a bigger perspective and just see all these different things that God is doing that are all related to the circumstances that I'm in right now that would not have happened if these circumstances were not mine right now. And so there's so much growth in this journey. And it's just so beautiful.
And the resilience that I found in him, of getting squashed, so God was always there. He was always there. But the end result was each experience deepened his love, my understanding of his love for me as a person. That he's not the mean dad. He's the opposite of everything squashing me, And it just, the one thing I do know of all the different things that have happened to me, that he loves me, and that he is, in his love is perfect towards, his actions are perfect towards me, and he always is perfect in his answers, that he's going to take me into that perfection. And that's my battle cry, the love of the Father.
Limitless. No, the grid, he's just weird.
Yeah.
At first, Ezekiel 1, he's pretty weird in that book. Just like, it's like nothing's too abnormal.
Yeah.
But outside of that, he is ridiculous love.
So to feel and to go into the depths of these things with him, and for him to show you everything, and for him to free you in this super tangible and profound and meaningful way that becomes a part of you and becomes a weapon of yours.
Because
it's
then
so
you can give it
beautiful.
to other people.
Yes.
When you walk through something, you can then in return hand it off.
Yes, and I love that so much about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's freeing you, making you whole, but you're gaining understanding and all this and the ability to free other people.
I really do. We talk like this all the time.
Yeah.
Like this is really our conversations.
I know it.
I just get, it's seeing him more as he really is.
Yeah.
It even it draws even relationships closer together.
It does.
Yeah. Because we all see him. We all see a piece of him.
Yeah.
There's a part of his heart that is captured within us. Because I believe that's how we express him on the earth.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's it. What's funny about it, if you heard it at the beginning of it, our very first intro ever on an unreleased episode. So I went digging through some old stuff.
Wow.
And our very first intro has us say, hi, I'm, our first and last names, which is funny to hear it.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Mhm, yeah. So I threw that one in there.
Aw.
Yeah, because I was going through, I was like, how many of these? So whenever I edit the podcast, I drag it into the software, I put the music on it, edit it, and re-render it. So my computer just continually packs on the pounds of podcast clockage. Well, I was going through it because I have most episodes on there, and I found those. Remember, there was 3 that we did, and the sound wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Like the first ones, and I found those. And I haven't listened to them fully. Those would be fun to release.
That
maybe.
would be.
Yeah, it was just funny listening to the very beginning of it.
We're trying to get our training wheels.
Yeah.
We're like, how does this work?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, like when you say it and it's not an established thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I love it.
yeah. Good year.
You had such a brilliant idea with that. I thought it was so cool.
I think it was your idea.
That was definitely you.
Well, we just threw it out there.
I'm
developed
giving
it.
you.
You executed it, but I appreciate.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's what
It's
I tell
good.
everybody, because I think I was on a little jog. We were talking about another podcast.
Oh, that's right.
I
Blurry
joked
creatures.
about it. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, we should make one.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a podcast studio. We should make one." I'm joking. I'm not even I'm kidding.
Yeah. You remember we used to be on the phone for like an hour,
Talking
hour and a
about
half.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about those things. And I brought that up and you were like, let's start it. Let's start it this Saturday. It's like, okay.
That's what I do.
All right.
I figure out date and time, make people stick to it.
That's good. Consistency or like follow through.
Yeah.
When Zach and Nathan and I were talking yesterday, and Zach, the idea fairy, Zach would say.
The good idea fairy. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's a thing. And it's like, well, if you do something with it.
Yeah. That's what he always said, like, especially early in our marriage. He was like, I always had these good ideas until I married you. And then you forced these things to come to life.
Yeah.
And then I realized I didn't like all these good idea fairies.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a little superpower you got there.
That's funny.
To make things come to life. Well, and that's part of the, people needing people and working together and strengths and stuff like that. The bodies.
The pieces, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got to come together.
Yeah.
I always say, like, I like to get the ball rolling, but I don't want to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. Maybe there's somebody for that, for keeping it rolling, for taking charge of it once you establish it.
Yeah. I'm very visionary and can execute the beginning steps.
Yeah.
For sure. But, one thing I wanted to kind of just pitch this out here real quick, but I was feeling for 2023, it was a thought I was thinking on the way over here. In many things, I felt like, two things. One, I felt like the Lord really wanted to encourage people that you matter, that like your dreams, your desires, even the needs that you feel like may be overlooked. I felt like the Lord said, no, you matter. And I'm bringing those things this year. I felt like there were specific things for people that they were going to be able to access that have felt like a roadblock before.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, I felt the Lord say, you can utilize your assets. And I felt that there were going to be assets given to people, or they were going to begin to see the assets that are already surrounding them.
Yeah.
And I think assets, I had to look that word up because I was like, what exactly is an asset? Because I think of it as like material things. I think that's normally how people perceive that. But it says a useful or valuable quality, person, or thing.
Oh, wow.
An advantage or resource.
Yeah.
And I felt like there were advantages that people weren't taking advantage of in their life.
Yeah.
I felt like relational assets, like relational resources, and not to use somebody. It felt like a connection.
Yeah.
Connections that hadn't been made yet that are kind of floating around people.
Right.
Almost like plug into that relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be extremely valuable for you.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling like there's a lack of something or you're seeing something that doesn't, almost like a missing piece still.
Yeah.
Ask the Lord what's already surrounding you.
Cool.
And kind of access that. So
sweet.
Those are the things I had just to encourage anybody else with.
Oh, yeah.
So
I had a little one too. I felt like encouraging the listeners, anybody that hears this as well, to not be coerced or pulled by the world, by like the structures of it, the formulas of it, the kind of the things that have been placed over people to lock people in place. And I felt like encouraging you to ask God for his faith and his courage, like to step out and to see things and to see past the grid and to like truly walk in unison with heaven on this earth. Like ask him for that.
That's
I just
good.
think there's a lot of projections. I've been feeling a lot of projections and the formulas and structures, not necessarily good ones. I think that a lot of them could be.
If they were reversed.
You're not boxed in. I think is what it is. You're not boxed in, but like ask him for his eyes and his faith.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. Just when you were saying that, I literally got chills on my body. I was like, that's a good word. That's a flippin' solid one. Because I was just feeling like the entrapment that people feel over a perception that is laid on top of them.
Right.
It's like a nasty wet blanket, you know, that tries to convince you.
Yeah.
All you have to do is take the blanket off.
Right.
But yeah, I felt like even maybe in people's jobs,
Definitely.
like the job arena, feeling like you're stuck, like I'm always going to have to be in this specific situation or I felt like this year to get the perspective of heaven, because that's going to unlock a door.
Yeah.
He's going to open a door for you.
Absolutely.
Maybe that goes into utilize the assets around you.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
The new
100.
connections. Yeah. But
yeah. Yeah, it feels good. And then once you have a taste of it, and once people have a taste of that, you begin to see how brittle the projections are. And I don't know, just it could be incredible. I think it's meant to be. And then you can't stop it once you've had a taste of it, you know, and it starts rolling.
Yeah.
I don't think anything will be able to stop it. Anyways. Well,
it's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun stuff. What a solid year, though.
What a solid
fun year. What a good, fun year. We
should break.
And
then we should just start going through all of our favorite highlights just in our own life.
Okay. This year?
Yeah.
Let me think about it. Okay. I'll try to come up with it as we go.
I like it. We could popcorn it.
Yes. Probably have some here. Popcorn and coffee.
Yeah.
Gross. I hate popcorn. Well, okay. What's cool about it, though?
Year highlight. What do you got?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
But what is cool about it, it's like we have all these episodes that we record like every week. So on the flip side of it, things happened. Like that was in the midst of like all these different.
Oh, yeah.
I've had some confrontations this year that I'm thankful for. The beginning, it kicked the year off with one good one.
Yeah.
And that was great.
I ended the year with a really good confrontation.
Yeah.
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 It's funny.
That's a better one than mine. But yeah, it's anyways.
I'm just saying, this is one thing I feel like I'm growing in so much.
Yeah.
Is learning to love the fire.
Yeah. Right.
I love the confrontations that happen, not in a bitter way, not in a, I'm going to fight it, but like, no, I welcome this. This feels very uncomfortable. This is refining a lot of my perspective.
Yeah.
Also letting go of a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to love the fire.
I was thinking about that too. The confrontation, turn the other cheek specifically was coming to my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead, hit me on this side. You've got nothing in me. I will forgive you, you know?
Yeah. And even if I'm misunderstood, this was one thing that I have felt. Even if I'm misunderstood, I'm not going to try and prove my point. I'm not going to try and prove my perspective.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay.
Absolutely.
That you don't understand even what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Or what I'm trying to bring to the table.
Right.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And just being okay with like more and more of just who I really am.
Right.
And more of like, and I don't mean accept the toxic traits that have surfaced.
You don't have to, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a key in growing in maturity is letting go of these false belief systems, these limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, about God, about other people.
Yeah.
Because that's where maturity lies. But
absolutely.
I think that's what confrontation causes.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to let go of a belief system that you have that hasn't been benefiting you.
Right. And the reason it's so difficult is because you're ready for it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Confrontation.
It's just like birthing, you know?
Yeah.
Like when the baby's ready, that's the most intense.
Yeah.
This is the absolute most intense part. I mean, you don't understand, but
I don't.
It's there. It's definitely there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That was the first, reflecting on the year, that was my first memory, and that happened in the midst of starting this. It was a blast. And turning the other cheek, and that confrontation ended. I was prepared for it, but that confrontation ended on the individual I had the confrontation with was like left, had nothing in me, tried to trigger me.
Yeah.
tried to trigger me and pull me into some immaturity or, defending myself, like pushing all the buttons. And I didn't. And this individual left saying, the comment was, "You're so gentle." I was like, "Oh, good." I was like, I made it through the thing.
You win. Mm-hmm.
And got that token at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then this individual was like, I was like, wow, that is, for them to say that too was really sweet. That was a kick off the year thing. What about you? What was your first big?
You know what's funny? I was going through, Daniel gave us this challenge and I was like, that's so good. Because normally I kind of, after I have a dream, I'll kind of notice like the themes of it, and then I just kind of pack the theme, so I never go back into the dream.
Okay.
This year I decided to go back through all the dreams, like the specific dreams, read back through them, extract something else out of them. Every single thing that I've encountered since the end of October, has been a dream that I had in January and February.
Oh, wow.
I was like, holy
That's
crap.
great.
Like details of just bizarre. I was like, well, I guess he was trying to tell me early, but
really early. Yeah.
Yeah. I take a long time to figure things out.
It's like, I think about that too sometimes. Like, when is this going to come to pass? How is this going to play out? It's just, I guess it's learning his language. Maybe it's fun to see it and when it happens.
But just even the timing of stuff, it was cool. Because even in the dream, it had timing. Like, it was bizarre. Because it would be like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like 9 months.
Yeah.
Like, just things like that. That's like, okay.
But you're good at unraveling those things too.
It was cool to see it even more.
Yeah.
Like small details that I just kind of brushed over. Like, oh, okay, I just want to get the theme of it. I just want to get the meat of it.
Now you're conscious of
the details.
Yeah.
For me, the details have mattered this year.
Yeah.
And all the details,
That's
I think,
cool.
even the details in my life have started to matter.
Yeah. Is it fun now? Is it fun now to be like, ooh, now I'm going to like conscious of them. I'm going to seek out those little things too. Like, is it more
Totally. Yeah.
It's like you opened up the present and there's more in there under that crappy tissue paper.
Oh yeah. Which I highly encourage people to do that. Go back through your dreams.
Yeah. Open it all up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I think that sometimes you have to have time pass.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go back into it.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's a valuable thing for us because he gives us the deposit, right?
Right.
Then we kind of have to like play out and then go retrieve more of it.
Right. Chew on it.
Yeah.
That was one I had this year. At Hoff prophetic teams and stuff. He taught me that I missed. There was one guy walked in. I was on teams that day, and this guy walked in, and right when he walked in, just the thought of this guy, I just like when he walked in, I was like, "Guy's a movie director." It just hit me as a thought. I didn't consider it as like God's telling me about this man, and he came up, and I didn't even consider it, and then he said, "I'm a movie director," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had it." I didn't even consider that. Like I missed it. I could have hit him with that.
Yeah.
And been so accurate. Well, it was like 2 or 3 weeks, a few weeks later, it happened again and I caught it.
The lady on the trail?
No.
Oh.
This was another guy.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
I was able to, okay, this dude he's an MMA fighter or a kickboxer. That's what it was, a kickboxer. And I just threw it out there. I was like, I feel like you're a kickboxer. And he was like, I am. I was like, yes. Okay, awesome. Deeper language. It was like, he's not only speaking when I ask him for something, he's speaking like constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And then the girl on the trail, that one, which was her cousin's first and last name.
Yeah.
Just he's as close as a thought. He's closer than a thought.
Yeah.
So intertwined with your spirit because you have his spirit in you. It's just I'm in you, you and I, that thing.
Yeah.
And it's like the avenues that he speaks I mean, it's all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just so cool. That was a fun one. Talking
That's
about
cool.
the little things, paying attention. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I have uncovered things this year of stuff from the past,
Mhm.
like words that I had gotten that I didn't even know were real.
Yeah.
Like I had just put them down in my journal.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I kind of have this thought about specific people that have now come and have a really vital role in Hoff.
Huh. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I saw these people before they ever came,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have a journal of it, and I didn't know. I had
Is
no
this
idea.
the tree? Was it a tree?
That's one. There's another one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Hmm.
no. Well, there was that dream,
Yeah.
which I really like. I'm not gonna lie. I love December 31st night dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some pretty significant ones.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of eager tonight. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get something good
Yeah,
for this
that'll be
year,
fun.
dude.
Yeah.
I've had multiple, but this was detailed of specific people,
Oh, cool.
like qualities things that they love.
Yeah, yeah.
I had written down. I was like, I always pray before service.
Yeah.
I always pray, and I'm praying for Hoff at all times. And
Yeah.
there was one specific person I was praying that like the Lord would, like, who else is supposed to be here? That's
Yeah.
what I was praying.
Yeah.
And I got a picture of somebody, wrote down some details that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, forgot about it.
Yeah. Sure.
This was like 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Found it this year.
Wow.
I didn't.
Sure.
That person plays a vital role.
Wow.
And it was mind boggling to me.
That's so cool.
But that's happened for multiple people
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just like, how much the Lord wants to tell us things.
Yeah.
And somebody said this to me this year, and I was like, yo, that's a thing that I want to so deeply, I feel like is deeply becoming a part of me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say 100% yet,
Uh-huh.
but I do think but like, you're not your revelation.
Mm-hmm.
Like your
Right.
identity isn't hung up in revelation
Sure.
or what you're getting. But it's so cool when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, how much, I think sometimes we can have this doubt that he really wants to integrate everything into this life.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think the religious system teaches you things are still sometimes separate,
Yeah.
sometimes in your life. Like, this is good, but then, this piece is over
Mhm.
here. Like, you just kind of have to figure it out,
Hmm.
I don't know. That's how it's been for me coming out of the religious system. But
yeah. Well, I love the how you are learning, continuing to learn and grow and wielding his voice, like the things
Mhm.
that he gives you, and like noticing all these things, but it's developing it. So I mean, just imagine the space where he gives you something and you just know what it's for and when it's for, or like
yeah,
that developing language. Like right now, the stuff that Zach and I have been working on.
yeah.
I'm going back looking at things.
I had a dream
It's-
about y'all a year ago.
Yeah.
I told you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. That's one example.
That was
and
one
then
of the things
another
I
word
was like,
that you gave me
yeah,
about just the green light to do do things and stuff. But it's something I can go back and be like, has the Lord has he spoken to me about it? Like I have this
mm-hmm.
dialogue with him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, have you told me about this? Or have you?
Have you been planting seeds all along?
Yeah. And he does that. And so it's like, I have that to go back on. That's an aspect of wielding it, what he gives you,
Mhm.
the communication with him. Yeah, it's fun. I can't wait to see and to grow in that even more. I just don't
Mhm.
want all of it. It's the point.
You know what I love about it? That the voice of the Lord sparks so much joy in me
Yeah.
that it's like it becomes this exhilaration every time I hear his voice, every time I put pieces together,
Yeah.
every time it's like it gets me flipping pumped,
Yeah.
and then get to talk with people about it. I feel like I've done a lot of things in isolation.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the things that I've gotten, which I think all things should be in the secret place,
Yeah, yeah.
But I think this year I've been able to connect in such a richer place with people in this place of revelation.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not alone in it. It's like I get to share it, and then it's like, oh yeah, and then they've got a piece, and I'm like, holy crap! Like
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the whole picture
Mhm.
because I think sometimes you or I have looked at just one piece, and it's like, okay, that's the whole picture.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, dude, you got a sliver of this.
Yeah. It's a part of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I've seen that, like stuff I've gotten, and then stuff that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Like just when we're talking through stuff, it's like, oof, like that's good. Like Anthony, the text that he sent us the other day.
Yeah.
He sent us a text about like Hebrews 12:1, which I had just read it a couple of days ago. And the thing that was hitting on me about one thing, it's like he brought the other angle of it.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this was the very thing that the Lord was talking to me about. And then when he sent that over,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, it was so cool.
Oh, it is cool. Yeah.
Because it's like when you put the revelation out there of like, hey, I'm kind of getting this. Hey, I'm kind of walking through this. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, then I've been thinking about this. This is what I've been doing. Like it's beautiful, man.
That's the
it
value
is the
of
mosaic.
speaking it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that happened with Laurel and I yesterday or the
Yeah.
other day. The Lord told us the same thing on the same night.
Yeah.
She was in her bedroom. I was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, and then we were talking about it the next morning and it was like, whoa, there's something here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's fascinating. A multi-dimensional view of something. Yeah.
But that's our advantage
Yeah.
over the world
That's right.
because that's
With
the kingdom
everything.
perspective.
It is. Yeah.
It's like, yo, we get the whole picture.
Yeah.
Even these perceptions that they put, it may be partial truth.
Yeah.
But if you're not connected with other people, you're not going to see the whole truth.
Right.
And a partial truth can make you take things out of context.
Right.
It can make you like focus on something that's
Right.
like
Yeah.
you'll major on a minor.
That's what I always appreciate about the body group fellowship aspect of it is that accountability and the humility. It just makes you completely malleable is the term I always use, the clay stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's how you grow maturely,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and not in the completely a weird direction, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I super, super value that. And it's like I know the people I'm surrounded by or selflessly care about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I care about them. It's like that game where if you fall backwards, you trust them to catch you.
The
I would
trust
totally
fall.
do that. Yeah, the trust fall. Totally feel that, but that allows us to
I got like 10 people. I'm just kidding.
10.
Only
like
10
2
people.
or 3. I say surrounded.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But it gives you that space to, you don't have to cover yourself. You can be, and you can try things. You can branch out.
Yeah.
But you have I don't know, you got your people.
Mm-hmm. And it's like finding those or letting yourself just be with the people that the Lord sets up.
Yeah.
I think sometimes there's this draw to trying to connect with other people that it's like, yo, that person's not going to actually benefit you the way you think.
Sure.
Like if you have a desire to like, oh, I want to be in that in crowd or I want to do that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
all of that is cheap
Yeah.
because those people aren't for you.
Right.
They're not going to bring out the best part of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a big copycat. It's what is that term? Counterfeit. It's a counterfeit
Yeah.
to something real.
I just see that. I've seen that with like, well, I'm not trying to throw anything under the bus or whatever,
Yeah.
but people will kind of come in and be like, oh, everything's clicky or it feels clicky.
Yeah.
Like there's that kind of language.
Uh-huh.
I have seen that in churches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I grew up under the grossest religious system in the world.
Yeah.
And it was very much that. It was like everybody's kind of clicky and da-da-da. You have your, and it's always disguised as, well, you just click better with other friends, you know?
Yeah.
I call BS on it. But the reason I'm saying that is because I think that if you're trying to force your way into something or force your way into a group or force friendships, it's like, yo, that was never designed for you.
Yeah.
That's actually not going to benefit you. That thing probably just needs to get broken up, which the Lord will do. You don't even have to worry about it. It's like, actually ask the Lord, where are those people around me?
Yeah.
Who are those people that are supposed to be for me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then actually lean into that. Because I feel like I've had a lot of conversations this year about relational dynamics.
Yeah.
And that just seems to be a theme. It's like, yo, just ask the Lord, who are my people?
Yeah.
And will you bring those people to me?
Right.
And let me see when they're here,
mm-hmm.
and then value those things that are around me.
Yeah.
You know? Because anyways, I just think it's important to find the right people
mm-hmm.
and click with get in and value those right people.
Oh, for sure. And him being the unity of it, the rock,
the
man.
crux of the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, the foundation of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. Like it said, it's unshakable. We can't move it. And that's kind of like if you have that, then the projections and everything fade away. That's where the true growth is.
And you can see it much more clearly.
Yeah.
It's like you can see when you're walking with the right folk. I noticed that over our Christmas break.
Yeah.
We had to go see my family.
Uh-huh.
But when I wasn't walking with my people, because I have this really great habit where I just stop talking to people for a week because I disappear into my world. But or I get swallowed up in a lot of things. But
sure.
It's like a breath of fresh air when I came back. I was like, oh man, I miss these people.
Yeah.
Man, it's nice to be around people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
I have this gratitude list that I've started to cultivate. Every night I add one more thing to it. And the thing that I wrote the other night was I valued that my friends hear the voice of God.
Yeah.
There's something so different when your friends actually value the voice of God.
Yeah.
Because they can speak into your life and it holds weight.
Yeah.
And it holds shifts.
Yeah.
And it holds joy and it holds unity. There's something so different than just superficial friendships.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
But.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, though? What was the biggest, greatest thing that was uncovered for you this year?
I think that just kind of maybe going along with the word I had at the beginning of it, maybe but really to a big degree, nobody really knows what they're doing. It's like there's no formula. There's no formula or box. There are projections of formulas and boxes.
100.
And it's like everything's possible, Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, it's like
nobody
the world
knows
is
what they're doing.
Yeah. You know how I mean that.
Unless, yeah. Oh, I do know.
Okay.
I know exactly how you mean that.
But the world is our arena. That's the way that's what it was intended. Subdue the earth.
Yeah.
It's like everything is contained here. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
for
the bad,
life
the
and
ugly,
godliness.
and it's here to be redeemed.
Yeah.
And it's ours to redeem. And to be his hands and his feet on this earth.
I was just listening. We were just talking about that. I was listening to an old podcast of ours. That was the very thing we were talking about.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. About taking dominion.
Well, that's what it is. That's what the world is.
It's just sweet.
It's not, I show up. What box do I fit in? Let me get on the conveyor belt and go this way. No.
You're brilliant,
It looks
man.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're all brilliant.
Totally
Brilliantly made.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, man.
Know your value. Know your worth.
Yeah. And I really have begun to feel that. And I feel like, okay, whatever he gives me the green light to do, follow the joy. And I'm with him. He's with me. We communicate. He'll lay it out for me. And he'll tell me no, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's the shepherd. I'm the sheep. He put the joy in me. He put these things in me to be fulfilled. So it's like you can follow that because he put it there. And he's the shepherd,
Yeah.
So that is okay, I don't know what's going to happen. this year. I don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow, him and the way that he built me. I don't know. It opened up that whole, everything is really, these formulas and these structures, you can pull the pin on it. It'll collapse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Okay.
That's so good.
Yeah. Which is how it really is. I think that's why we're here.
Oh, yeah.
And to redeem some of those structures. Maybe they're real close to what they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are some that are solid. And like the connecting pieces, that's another one. And we've talked about that recently. There's pockets of him in the city, in the world.
Yep.
And maybe it's not, we're starting here pinpointed and we're going to expand. Maybe it's connection.
Maybe it's let's hold hands.
It's the web of gold around the world that's
dude.
connecting.
Oh, yeah.
That one is another one.
I think we're going to see that play out this year.
I think so too.
The
I think
hands
we've
holding.
seen pieces of it.
Mm-hmm. 100.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of deposits this year.
Yes.
Of things you and I, especially for this, that we get to hold on to.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Because for a long time, I just thought this was just going to be a fun hobby that we did.
I know, yeah.
But
it's more than that.
It's becoming much more than that for me.
Yeah. Right. I love I put it all, it's in my drawer. I have a drawer. It's in my drawer at my desk here and at my desk at the house. I've got one of these days when we have a studio. I'm going to hang all these little trinkets and tokens up that we have. But I have like the picture of the key that Todd was holding in my dream. I've got the knife that I made out of the purple heartwood in my desk. There's some other things too.
We're going to draw some green orbs and blue and gold orbs.
Yeah, the light signals. That'd be a good painting to put.
Bat signals?
Yes. I thought about putting that, where that thing wrote on my wall. I thought about doing a painting of that and putting it where it wrote it on the wall.
That would be cool.
It might look like crap. I'm not a, what is it, interior designer?
Decorator.
Yeah, it'd be, because I would paint my walls red. But whatever.
God. You'd be much more agitated than you realize.
I don't know.
It's an agitated color.
I've been seeing some red rooms. I'm like, that looks cool.
That's funny.
Especially like the reading room.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, rabbit hole.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I think this is the last episode of the year.
This is it, 2020.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's recorded.
2022.
The last recorded. It'll be released post.
Welcome 2023.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Fun and exciting things.
Oh, and thanks for listening this year.
Oh, yeah.
For every single person that decided to listen.
Everyone.
We appreciate it. We love our listeners.
Yes.
Love the feedback. Love the things that y'all have told us. Love all of it.
Yeah.
People who've donated to this, really, that was kind. So kind. Thank you.
We love getting to hang out with you wherever you're at.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. All right.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.